Hey all, good morning. This is Raj here. Welcome to the morning show. It's the 18th of July 2022. A wonderful week ahead for us, full of action. There's a lot of reports coming up. The weekend was very good for me, and I hope you guys had a great time too. With that said, let's get started with the morning show. This week we have a lot of interesting earnings, and that can move the markets. Especially there's a whole lot of earnings on Wednesday. So let us start with Monday. On Monday, IBM, Bank of America, Goldman Sachs, and a slew of other banks are going to report. That is today. And already we have news that Bank of America has reported that their profit dropped 32% to $6.25 billion, or 73 cents a share from a year earlier. Due to a $523 million provision for credit losses. And I think providing for credit losses is the right thing to do, because with recession coming in, there will be delinquencies on loan. So it's not a bad thing. The bank had a $1.6 billion benefit as borrowers proved more creditworthy than expected. As a result, revenue climbed 5.6% to $22.79 billion, edging out analyst expectation as net interest income surged 22% to $12.4 billion on rising interest rates and loan growth. Now, when I look at this as an investor, I think that the provisions out there will be released in a subsequent reporting period if those loans don't turn bad. So there is always the contingency profit sitting in the balance sheet out there. And in case the loss happened, it's already taken care of right now by providing those provisions. So overall, I'm really happy about the way Bank of America has turned out. But we never know what the market is going to think about it. So we'll have to wait and see what happens when the market opens. Next, on Tuesday, we have Netflix reporting along with Novartis and Johnson & Johnson. So this set of reporting, I think I would focus on Netflix because Netflix is going to be the first of the FANG stocks to report. And we have been hearing about recession in streaming, anecdotes like that. Even I have seen some YouTube experts who have been talking about recession in even in the YouTube world in terms of sponsors cutting back on advertisements and those kind of things. So it will be very interesting to see what Netflix has to report, and it's also got competitors like Disney Plus and others who are also picking up steam. So I think that's going to be a very important report, and it could turn the markets. Again, Novartis and J&J are also reporting on Tuesday, that is tomorrow. They will give us an idea of what's happening in the biotech sector and the pharmacy sector. Novartis definitely has a stake in CRISPR kind of technologies. So we'll see what directions they can show us. On Wednesday, we have Tesla reporting, which is something that I'm looking forward to. There has been a lot of lockdowns in China, and Germany is also struggling with energy crisis, and both the plants that Tesla has got, which we were expecting to feed into their bottom line, are going to have a higher operating costs and lower output, and we need to see how that is working out for Tesla. Tesla is known to pull out rabbit from the hat many times and have outperformed. So let us see what they do. Also, personally, for Elon Musk, this is going to be a very difficult time because he's on the hook for Twitter. I believe, looking at the way he went about making a commitment to buy Twitter, I don't think he put any preconditions. And there are past tweets of his which are talking about number of bots being high and that he could fix it. So when he goes to the courts in Delaware, I think he's going to be forced to buy the company, or he may end up paying a lot of money. But most of his money is backstopped by his Tesla's shares. And if the report this Wednesday is not good, and if Tesla shares tank, then we'll have a bit of a problem out there. And talking about Tesla shares tanking, let us quickly look at their price chart. And I want to show you why I say the technical analysts can only provide probability and it's not a sure thing. And this is a very good example, because right now we don't know what the earnings are going to be. And I want to show you the chart and give you the possibilities of what is likely to happen and what technical analysis says should happen. And we will see what happens on Wednesday. So let me quickly take you to TradingView, and then we'll come back to our news item coverage. As you can see here in the chart for Tesla, each of these candles is a one-day candle, and you'd see that we have dropped from this bullish channel, bearish channel. We dropped from here, that was around 1100 $1,136 or $1,140, and we kept on coming down steadily. And then we hit this support out here at 626.47. And after that, we have been moving into what I would call as a pennant formation. So this is the pennant out here. I'm just going to quickly draw it for you. So this is a pennant, the upper end, and this is the lower end. So this is the pennant, and the bottom is the support and the top is the resistance. So it has been narrowly coiling in here. According to technical analysis theory, when a pennant is formed on a downward trend, then it is going to show that the price will move down. So this is what technical analysis predicts. But if Tesla did break the expectations and exceeded the expectations by performing better than the street expectation, then we can expect to see that instead of coming down, it's going to break out and go up. So this is the possibility out here, and we'll have to see what happens. And likewise, if this pennant was formed on a upward moving trend, like if instead of this coming down, if it was going up and then we had a pennant, then the technical analysis predicts that it will break the pennant and go upwards. But if bad news did come, then it would probably go down. So those are the things that I wanted to highlight to you. Well, continuing with the news, on Wednesday, we do have a company called ASML reporting. This is a major company in my opinion because it manufactures machines that make microprocessors. These machines are like, you can imagine a big tourist bus. They are that size, and within that they have highly precise lasers which etch circuits onto silicon wafers. It's a very, very clean and precise kind of environment in which all those manufacturing takes place. It takes a lot of time to make each of these machines, and now they are creating machines which work in vacuum and are able to print even much smaller transistors. And those kind of chips mean a lot of work being done with less energy. And most of our manufacturers like Tesla, Apple, everybody needs microprocessors. These days, even in fridge, you have microprocessors. So the demand being high and there being a shortage, there are a lot of orders placed on ASML. We'll see what happens when they report. I'm expecting them to show a blockbuster performance. So on Wednesday, we can expect them to report strong earnings. On Wednesday, we also have Abbott reporting. Abbott is a major in pharmacy. We'll like to see what they have to report and how the market has been with them and what their outlook is going forward. And in my mind, my concept has always been that Maslow's hierarchy of needs always works. Food, clothing, shelter, security. Those are all primary needs. Medicine I put along with that, medicine and healthcare. And therefore, I think that regardless of recession and everything, these companies will report well. That said, moving on to Thursday, we have got AT&T, American Airlines, and on Friday we have Verizon. So American Express, Twitter, and NextEra Energy also report to us on Thursday, and that's going to be a whole lot of information for the market to digest, and there could be volatility out there depending on how each of these companies report. But my attention goes on to Twitter because along with Netflix, Twitter also forms part of the FANG group. And Twitter is in battle with Elon Musk. And as I said, they have taken Elon Musk to court for the deal that Elon Musk had entered into with Twitter. And of course, Elon Musk has not done his due diligence and he's now trying to backtrack, in my opinion. That has severely damaged Twitter because Twitter shares are on a roller coaster. And also Twitter employees had low morale and they had to take a lot of steps just to keep operational. So it will be interesting to see what Twitter has to report in terms of earnings. And I suspect that the recession is hitting internet revenues as well. And it will be interesting to see proof out there. So those reports can definitely move the markets downwards. And I'll be very cautious on Thursday. And we'll also get comprehensive view of the banking sector and airlines. And speaking of airlines, Delta has bought 100 737 MAX 10 planes with option for buying another 30 more. And these deliveries are expected to be made from Boeing to start somewhere around 2015. And this is Delta's first fresh order for new Boeing planes more than a decade. So this is a major milestone. This is a very, very positive statement from Delta. Their confidence that going forward, there is going to be enough margins and business for the airlines to continue. The more fuel efficient MAX planes will replace older Delta narrow body jets. So this should add to margins, assuming that borrowing costs are not that higher. And you can also see that this is a very happening kind of a week, and quite a few sudden movements are possible in the market, either pre-market or after hours. So you have to be very careful. And I also expect that this will impact the decision of speculators when we come to Friday, because there will be option expiries, and also they will be potentially afraid to leave money in the stock market for the weekend. So all of that is likely to make Friday also a little more volatile. And when I say volatile, I mean that it could either go up sharply or it could go down sharply. There is no telling at this point of time. Let the week unfold, and we'll revisit this every morning and see how the direction is changing. And linking back to our weekend video that I published where I spoke about the economy, I had referred to the low unemployment rate. And this morning I saw a news article, a news item, talking about weak customer service at restaurants due to shortage of wait staff. The story recounts waiting an hour after being told that there's a 30-minute wait time to be seated despite tables being empty. And the restaurant said that the reason for that was lack of staff. And then after waiting for an hour, the customer had to wait for another 30 minutes at the table to be served because of lack of wait staff. So all of this makes us understand that there's a shortage of labor. But I think that if the right amount of money was paid to the wait staff, they would definitely come and work, because it has to be worthwhile for them to step out of the house and go and give their time. The labor has been commoditized. That's another story. I'll talk about that in a special video. But coming back to this point, I think that if wait staff is paid well, they will definitely come and work. It has to be worth their while. They should not be just depending on tips, because the wait staff knows that in a recession, people are not likely to tip heavily. So they see that their amount of efforts put working a 7.5-hour shift is going to be not worth the effort, because the money is not going to be good. But on the other hand, I also empathize with the restaurant owner because they are under pressure for higher rents potentially, and also higher interest on the line of credit and borrowings that they have. But I believe that the hospitality sector has, especially the restaurants, have been really bad employers by making their waiting staff depend more on tips than on wages. And they are probably paying the price for that right now. They need to pull out all stops and start giving better wages to their waiting staff in order to attract more people to work, and therefore improve their business and the customer experience. That is my 2 cents worth on that. With that said, I do feel for the business owner. I'm not saying it's one-sided just towards the employees, but the business owner is also going to suffer because of their past practices when the times were good. Talking of other news, EU is likely to sign a gas deal with Azerbaijan today. And here is the background for this particular deal. Russia has denied that it is using gas as a weapon against the West. However, the supplies of gas to Europe has fallen more than 60% in the recent week due to one excuse or the other. One of the excuses was the turbine that is under maintenance in Canada. So Germany got Canada to give back the turbine after servicing it. So that's no longer an excuse, but still the flow is not continuing. And Germany desperately wants to build up 90% of its reserves before winter sets in. So European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen and Europe's energy chief Kadri Simpson are visiting Azerbaijan today to conclude a new gas agreement. Azerbaijan, which is geographically located with borders between Georgia, Turkey, Armenia, Russia, Iran, and the Caspian Sea, has started exporting natural gas to Europe via the Trans-Adriatic pipeline at the end of 2022. And I think that that's going to provide a bit of relief to Germany, and that could also have its impact on oil and gas prices in the markets today once the announcement comes of signing the deal. And more details emerge. Coming back to earnings, I forgot to mention that Goldman Sachs is also reporting today and may potentially have reported while I was recording this video. Depending on how they performed against the street expectation, we can expect the stock to go up or down and also have an effect on the overall market. Bank of America definitely has performed well. If Goldman Sachs does as well, I think we are looking at a bullish market today, at least for the financial sector. On the political front, Steve Bannon is expected to stand trial today for contempt of Congress charges, as all of his attempts to avoid accountability have been exhausted. This week, we'll also have a January 6th hearing on Thursday. For us as investors, this matters because the businesses thrive when there is a rule of law. So we need to keep track of what is happening. And we'll also have to keep track of what's happening to the US dollar index, as that would indicate flow of funds out of stocks, as well as indicate potential pressure on local businesses and therefore forecast potential increase in unemployment. It will also inform us of possibility of a less hawkish Fed. Well, that brings this video to an end. I would also like to mention that there is trouble brewing in the Chinese financial sector, because some of the smaller banks in the region have run into trouble with their customers, and they have put a lid on withdrawals, and that brought a lot of protest on the streets. So we'll have to see what the Chinese government is going to do about that. And you already know that the real estate sector has been a bit weak. I'll be putting out a separate video for that later on. But that's something that we have to keep in mind, because weakness in China is going to make the US dollar stronger. And when the US dollar becomes stronger, that's going to be pressure on the employment levels in the US, and it pushes US more towards a recession. And it will also force the Fed to be a bit less hawkish because of the recession fears, and that will be good for the stock market. So there is a whole lot of things that are going to happen in parallel. So you can expect a lot of volatility in the market this week. With that said, I think I would like to bring this video to an end. I hope you all had a great day so far, and you're going to do better in the markets with the foreknowledge that it's going to be volatile. So join me at around 3:30 p.m. For the market close live session, which I have started recently. I'll see you there at 3:30, and we'll see how the market tracks and how the earnings have impacted the market. At the end of the market, around 4 o'clock, I'll start doing a technical analysis on all our stocks in the watch list, all our genomic stocks, as well as the NASDAQ and the indices, and give some hints on what the technical analysis indicates as the probability for a price action the coming day. With that said, bye for now. Take care.